Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes, I am back. I am back. This is an early broadcast because I am doing a multi-broadcast day because I worked all dang weekend with the Cowboys experience, getting you great coverage from the Cowboys Stadium, AT&T Stadium, from Lava Cantina the day before at the Cowboys experience. I don't know what phrase they would use for it. It's not a watch party because you're not watching the game. It's not a tailgate because it's not the day of the game. Pep rally just seems like too little of a word. It feels too high school to me. I don't know what you would call these. I'm going to have to ask them what they refer to them as. But regardless, we had our party for Cowboys experience at Lava Cantina. Guys, let me know how the signal's doing. I'm seeing all kinds of crazy stat stuff going on here in my player, so I might be lagging a little bit. If that's the case, we'll have to adapt as we go, but I'll make adjustments as I can. What's up, Glad? What's up, Can't Catch 'em? So today, for this first show, I'm keeping my focus pretty centralized here. I'll be real with you guys. Because I was with the Cowboys experience all weekend, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, I did not see any college football Saturday. So everything that I have, everything that I can offer comes from box scores and highlights and just what I've read as far as general analysis. So we'll make do with that. But I'm going to dive in first and foremost here. Talk a little bit of Oklahoma whooping up, as my buddy who does OU coverage, RJ Young, would put it, laying a mollywhopping on Baylor, 66-33 in Norman. Now, here's the thing. Baylor, yeah, I know they had one loss entering the game, but Baylor, they with their offense can threaten anybody. Last year, they nearly came back and beat OU when OU still had Baker. Now, that was at Baylor, but all the same, it's a team that, because of how their offense works and what OU's recent history has been as far as its own defensive lapses and weaknesses, particularly Mike Stoops and his defense, it's been one of those things that has really exposed OU in the past. And Baylor, man, their quarterback still threw for 400 yards, so even though they only got 33 points out of it, they still threw the ball around just a little bit. What's up, Clayton Miller? So, here's what popped to me. I mean, just ridiculous what Kyler Murray was able to do. Now, coming into the game, he doesn't start. He doesn't play the first drive because he was late to like a walkthrough a day or so before the game. It was blown up like it might be some huge thing. Seems like it was just a slap on the wrist. All the same, I get why you're sending that message if you are Lincoln Riley. Good thing just to get the kid to refocus and say, hey, I don't care if you are the star of this team. You're the leader. You have to be the one who gets all these guys to rally behind you. And when you're showing up late for team meetings and walkthroughs, that's not a good look. So he sits him the first drive. You get 0 for 2 out of Austin Kendall. Then Kyler Murray returns, and dude goes off. 17 of 21 for 432 yards passing. That's an average of 20.6 yards an attempt. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ran for another touchdown, so 7 total touchdowns. On the ground, he also offered another 45 yards on 10 attempts with the touchdown I mentioned, and a long of 22. So the dude tore it up on the ground for OU, and especially through the air. Ties Baker's OU record of 7 touchdowns in a game. That's what's up. That's a high-standing record, man. Now, yeah, Kyler, man, I admit, I didn't know coming into this season how good his accuracy would be. He's shockingly close to Baker in terms of efficiency at this point last season. I think the difference with Baker and Kyler, Baker understands better how to create throwing lanes and has more, I think, arm talent. Kyler's got the cannon, and he can hit you with some nice clutch accuracy from here every now and again. But his main weapon is his legs and his playmaking ability. Baker, man, Baker was just a magician out there as far as finding angles, creating throwing lanes, and it just changed the entire dynamic for the offense. But with Kyler, that's still a hell of a weapon you got out there, and he is tearing it up in Lincoln Riley's system. noteworthy performances as well. You got Brooks going 8 attempts for 107 yards, 13.4 a carry with 2 touchdowns. Now, most of that came in the second half, and the game was kind of out of reach by then, so it's not going against your starters. So it pops, but it's not a blow-you-away kind of number. But running back is still one of those things I have questions about. When Rodney Anderson went down, I really said I have questions about. Let me adjust the mic. I see it looks like it's trying to blow out a little bit here. I had some real questions regarding how this team could perform if its running back position wasn't the home run threat anymore. Because Rodney Anderson, man, that dude is a bad, bad man. But you know, he's had a lot of injuries. If you keep him healthy, which has been a big if in his career, he'll dominate. But you got Trey Sermon in backup. And in Saturday's performance, he goes 8 of 19, only 2.4 yards a carry with a long of 8. Bro, I know your carries are down at 8, but man, you weren't getting anything in that. And this is 1 week after he was tearing it up too. So I don't know what the OU running back attack is. Maybe it's just a mixture of dynamic guys and you don't really know who the lead back is. That could be good, but it could also be a little troublesome as well. So I don't know what more to say there. The other thing that popped to me was OU's receiving core. This was their best game, bar none. Marquise Brown, 5 of 5 targets, 5 receptions, 132 yards, 26.4 a pop, 2 touchdowns with a long of 50. CeeDee Lamb, 4 targets, 3 completions, 101 yards, 33.7 a pop with a touchdown. He had an 86-yarder he took to the house. Lee Morris, Kyler's former high school teammate, who after the first game of this season against FAU went from being a walk-on at OU to getting a scholarship. He goes 3 for 3 for 61, 2 touchdowns as well. And yeah, I mean, just very, very nice performance here. The one guy I would say that's a letdown so far is Grant Calcaterra. One of 4 as far as catching targets, and it was a beautiful leaping touchdown. My problem with him is he's dropping other passes. He looks like he's shook for some reason. But the OU offense is in full effect. Massively, I don't want to say massive's not the right word in this case. They're on track. They look like they are in the full swing of the offense. They are at a full sprint as they enter the Red River Rivalry. And Texas has bounced back nicely after a rough start. Losing to Maryland again raised a lot of questions for me. But they beat USC, they beat TCU. That's the best one of their season so far. But then they had a head scratchers where they barely beat Tulsa, and now they barely beat Kansas State. And Kansas State's, I know you're at Kansas State, and Kansas State's historically been a team that can jump up and kind of nip at your ankles. But it's confusing to me. I don't know why Texas has struggled. But Texas goes, OU final 66-33. Texas goes into Manhattan. And they beat, let me find it here, they beat Kansas State 19-14. Let me see what pops here on this as I go through the box score. Ellinger, 29 of 36, very efficient passing day, but only 200 yards on that, so a lot of underneath. Yeah, 5.8 a pop. That's pretty low, only 1 touchdown. Don't love that at all. Ingram, the rushing attack, their leading rusher, 10 rushes for 68 yards, 6.8 a pop. That's nice. No touchdowns from the running game. Oof. Yeah, this is a... Man, I mean, I know 19 points means it didn't pop, but man, these numbers are pretty low. Johnson, the receiver, goes 4 for 51 yards and a touchdown with a long of 21. Humphrey adds 5 for 50 with a long of 20. So, yeah, it's a weird game for Texas. Who else had the other touchdown? Let's see, we got 1 touchdown out of Johnson, and well, they have 19. How did they get to 19? Oh, all field goals? Man, okay. All right, interesting. Well, yeah, so the important thing is Texas gets a win. They are, I think, 4-1 heading into the Red River Rivalry. They're number 18 right now. I haven't seen the latest poll to see if they've moved up, but they, coming into this game, were 18th. So this will be the first time, presumably, that both OU and Texas are inside the top 25. And it's been a minute since we've had one of those in the Red River Rivalry game. But the thing about that game that I love, it doesn't matter how good or how bad either team is. Like, hey, Adam, what's up? For the most part, Texas, even when Texas has had bad years, even some of those years under Charlie Strong, they still nipped up and tripped up OU. I mean, Baker's first year at OU, they lost to Texas, and it was a head-scratcher. And then it was like the next week that Lincoln Riley, as then offensive coordinator, realized, oh, this is how I use Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon. And this is how they complement Baker. Oh, that's what you meant. Got it. And then since then, OU's been, a juggernaut offense for the most part. But very, very curious here. Kansas State, man, Thompson, their starting quarterback, 8 of 18 for 96 yards. Dude's got a water pistol for an arm out there. I'm not seeing OU blowing out Texas at all. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. That's what I'm saying is I think it's the thing about OU Texas, it doesn't matter how good or bad either team is. It's always close and anything can happen because they get up for playing against each other. If you're Texas, you want to trip up and be the spoiler. If you're OU, you want to make a statement because this is a game that, Texas has built a better resume. They still have the name value. They're still Texas. It could help propel you forward if you're OU. So that's the benefit to you if you're in that situation. But I'm excited. It'll be a good game. I don't understand why OU worrying about the Texas defense. I just don't see it. It's just you just got to see, dude. The way you contend with OU is a strong front four, and I think Texas can bring that. That's what Georgia brought last year in the Rose Bowl, and in the second half especially, you saw how OU went from doing anything they want to getting mollywhopped themselves, giving up a big lead and then losing in double OT. Elsewhere in the Big 12, you got TCU escaping Iowa State 17-14. Man, that means Iowa State's record is what? Let me look at this. They were a lot of people's sleeper kind of coming into the season. I think they got one win on the dang season. Now, they did have one game that was canceled due to a thunderstorm. I don't know if they'll ever reschedule it, but that's rough for them. God, man, my stream health is all over the place. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to have to fix that before I do Mavs Fast Break tonight. And then before I do the Cowboys postgame later that evening. This evening. Adam, your favorite part here. West Virginia goes into Lubbock. They escape with a win. Now, I said last week Texas Tech surprised me how they went to Stillwater and thumped Oklahoma State. So this was a game that actually, even though I didn't get to watch it, it did have my attention. I was curious to see how it would turn out. Number 12, West Virginia, unbeaten. My dark horse for winning the Big 12 this year, going into Lubbock. They come out with a 42-34 win. Will Greer, another day, 27 of 41 for 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Very nice on his part. Can't catch him. Oh, wait, what? What time is Mavs Fast Break on? Assuming I can fix my damn stream health, which is glitching out like a mofo right now, my intention is to do that about 7:45, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. I'm going to run that for about 45 minutes, talk about Luka's debut, and then I'm going to have to quickly prep and set up right on the heels of that to do my Cowboys post-game show the day after, like I always do. So that's the downside of being so busy all weekend is I didn't get to do any of my normal stuff Sunday. It pushed everything back. So instead of having a kind of chill Sunday except for a couple shows, I have 2 crazy days of work in the field, in the experience, and all that awesome experience. And then thrown all that work I couldn't do Sunday now goes to Monday after a full day of work in the office. So it just kind of throws everything for a loop. Will Greer, I already hit on his numbers. Rushing, McCoy, 11 for 77, 7 a pop, 1 touchdown, like that. Petaway, 6 for 31, also balanced. The receivers, Sims goes 9 for 138 with a touchdown, long of 45. Jennings, 7 for 70, 2 touchdowns. I really like, man, this passing attack for West Virginia. I do. I love the passing attack for them, and what's more, they've got running backs to make it balanced. That's the thing that you really look at, because with Baylor, I mean, obviously we know in the last few years why they've fallen off, but when they were at their top form, they had the dynamic quarterback in RG3, but even were good after him. Around that, they just had studs at receiver, and I don't think Baylor ever had the blow-you-away running back. Oklahoma State, they've interchanged parts of that out, but they usually have the receivers as well. I like Justice Hill a lot, but I don't think they got the quarterback. So a lot of teams have stuff like that. West Virginia is the closest I've seen to putting forth essentially what Oklahoma has in dynamite quarterback, fantastic wide receivers, great running backs, only because of the Rodney Anderson injury now. I don't think OU has the best running back situation in the conference. I think that distinction probably belongs to, I mean, you could probably say West Virginia, honestly. I mean, Justice Hill is probably the single best back in the conference at this point. But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a battle between OU and West Virginia, and I'm curious to see, one, if both teams are still unbeaten by then, and two, exactly what week that's in. It's in West Virginia this year, so that's going to be a dog battle. I'm sure that'll be a night game, which is an even harder time to beat West Virginia if you're going to West Virginia. So that's the war that is setting up, and because of how the Big 12 is set up, it might be their only matchup of the season, or it might just be the first of two. Well, we won't know yet, but that's going to be good as well. And finally, in the Big 12, we got Oklahoma State winning 48-28 at Kansas. Whoop-de-doo! You drop 50, not even on Kansas, but it's Kansas. Cornelius goes 15, that's for Oklahoma State, goes 15 of 20, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Justice Hill, 31 for 189, 6.1 a pop with a touchdown. Hubbard also goes 5 for 57 with a touchdown. Yeah, I like Oklahoma State's offense. Their defense is typically a little bit lacking, and I don't think their quarterback is that great either. But Wolf goes 6 catches, 116 yards and a touchdown. Wallace, 4 for 104 and a touchdown. And Johnson, 3 for 86 with 2 touchdowns. Lot to like there as well. I think Oklahoma State's got the offense, but they don't have the defense or the quarterback. Could still get you if you're not looking for them, if you're not on your toes. Texas is building in the right direction, but they're not there yet, obviously. Oklahoma, still a juggernaut. West Virginia, teams better start taking notice of them real fast, or else they're going to steamroll their way to the Big 12 title, which, hey, good for them. This is the first year I felt like they could really win the conference. But we'll see. So I hadn't even going 20 minutes yet, but because of my stream health and everything else I got going on, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here and try and diagnose what the heck is going on with my internet. Stay tuned, guys. I will be back. Again, sorry, this is a shorter episode of Big 12 Football Roundup. I will be able to go more in depth in the next stream, tell you guys everything that's been going on the last 48 hours. Obviously, you've seen probably some on social media of what's going on, but I'll give you more of an inside scoop. Just hang tight. I'll be back. Until next time, remember, every legend was once a prospect. Salute.